Welcome to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show featuring a variety of subjects of local interest. This program was pre-recorded, so we're unable to take live calls on today's show. And now, let's talk about it.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It Sunday. I'm your host, Peter Abbarno, here on KELAAM.com and AM 1470 KELA. And my special guests this morning are from the Boys and Girls Club of Lewis County. We have Rome, we have Rebecca, and we have Sarah. Excited to have you here because I just recently attended the most important meal of the day event, and it was such a great event that my mind started working. The hamsters in my head were running on the wheel, and they said, let's get the Boys and Girls Club in so that parents and students can learn more about the program and organization and maybe get involved. So let's start off with Sarah. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Peter.
I'm glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
So you are the new executive director of the Boys and Girls Club of Lewis County.
Yes.
Or at least relatively new.
Yes, just started in January.
So how did you get involved? I mean, was it something that they reached out to you and said, you know what, you're going to be the perfect person, then you just signed on the dotted line? Or was it something that you thought about and you knew about earlier?
So Amanda Singleton and Kelly Smith Johnston said, hey, Sarah, would you like to have lunch? And they talked to me and said, hey, just your background, you were teaching, your involvement with the community, we think you could be a great fit for Boys and Girls Club of Lewis County. And I knew played basketball actually with Lauren Day, used to be Lauren LeDuc, previous executive director, met with her to get some insight into it. I knew Boys and Girls Club from a teacher perspective, really happy that some of my kids from my class went to Boys and Girls Club. And I just thought, okay, let me check this out. So. Yeah.
And so when they brought up this idea, did you think right away this really fits within my values and my mission of kind of how I want to give back?
Totally. I mean, I'm a big supporter of our youth and our community. I absolutely loved teaching, and just the fact that I get to work with all of Lewis County. We've really rebranded Boys and Girls Club of Lewis County. So the fact that we really want to expand throughout Lewis County, and I mean, affordable childcare is huge for families.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked about it on this show before, how quality childcare, quality early learning is something. We live in a kind of a childcare and early learning desert. And the more programs we can have that are accessible to parents so that they can so kids and students can have a safe place to live and learn and read and play and hang out, but also so parents can maybe seek economic opportunities like jobs or educational opportunities. And Boys and Girls Club seems to really fit that niche for parents.
Yes, we have a mom right now. Both of her kids attend, and she is going to college right now. And it's just, I feel so great that we can have her kids there, and she can go ahead and better her education. So,
yeah, Sarah, you've been around a while, and I don't mean like you've been around forever, but you know, I remember when the United Way of Lewis County was really working, and they still are, on their ending intergenerational poverty. I would imagine the Boys and Girls Club is such an important linchpin in helping families end that intergenerational poverty.
Definitely, yeah. We're definitely working closely, and we'll continue with United Way Learning Center also.
And you have a lot of partnerships
with the United Way, yeah.
I mean, because I went to your most important meal of the day event. It was very successful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Would you have 300 people, 250, 300 for an early morning breakfast?
It was amazing how many people showed up at 7:30 in the a.m. And a big thank you to Rebecca, my new resource development coordinator that just got hired on February 27th. I mean, she poured in a lot of time and energy into that.
Yeah, and so let's ask Rebecca. Rebecca, welcome to the show. You're now the new resource coordinator.
Yes.
For better or worse. It's probably better, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about the event. I mean, you came on fairly late in the game and put on a really awesome event.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, came on. The event really hit my 2-month anniversary with Boys and Girls Club. But what's so great about it is we're just being able to highlight kids, highlight the importance of, you know, what we can do in our community and support the kids who desperately need it. And I think that that's an easy sell. It's an easy thing to highlight.
So, Rebecca, so we just talked to Sarah about how she got involved in the group and the organization. How did you get involved?
Yeah. I was looking to do a career change, and I've known Sarah for, I don't know, a few handful of years. She actually used to work with my mom at Rochester Primary School, and so just had that connection that way, and just heard about the opening.
So there wasn't a lot of arm twisting?
No.
Just a little bit?
No, not at all.
Not at all. So how do you like, I mean, aside from being helping really put on a really great event that raised money and awareness for the Boys and Girls Club, what else do you do for the club?
Yeah, so I am working on finding new grants that we can offer. The majority of our daily operating cost per member is $255. Only $50 of that comes from our kids, so we have to either by donations or by grants earn that and raise that. And so that's what my job is looking for sponsors, looking for grants where we can make things happen for these kids.
So you wouldn't be upset if I said, if you're looking to sponsor or donate and you're a corporate sponsor or a business, you can go to bgclewiscounty.org and give Rebecca a call.
Oh, yeah, not at all. I'll take all the calls.
What's the phone number over there?
360-345-1700.
And if you're just tuning into the Let's Talk About It show on AM 1470, this is Let's Talk About It Sunday. I'm your host, Peter Abbarno, and with me are my special guests, Rebecca, Sarah, and Rome from the Boys and Girls Club of Lewis County, coming off a very, very successful, the most important meal of the day event. And we're talking about how the Boys and Girls Club really fits a niche for so many families and students in our community, where they're providing a safe place for learning and playing and really connecting to other students, as well as for parents and families who are seeking economic opportunities like jobs or educational opportunities at Centralia College, for instance, to try to really not only improve their own lot in life, but to end intergenerational poverty for their families. And so, Rebecca, where did you come from? And I don't mean like what, city, town, or ethnicity or anything, but like what was your job prior to this?
Yeah, I used to work at a mortgage bank.
Okay.
Which was great. It was a great company. I loved it. Just wasn't in love with that. Before that, I used to volunteer with kids. I used to mentor one-on-one, plan summer camps, winter camps, organizational things like that. I used to do a lot of admin work in different capacities for youth. And I just was looking for a way to get back into that, something that's super rewarding and that I can make a difference in somebody's life.
It's got to fill your heart, right?
Yeah.
When you see families and students kind of changing, coming out of their skin, really just coming into their own as they mature, and having mentors like you and Sarah and Rome to lean on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. It's to see kids that maybe don't have connections at school. They can make connections at club, whether it's with a staff member where we can find a way of getting them involved in a new game that they've never played before, or learning that they love a different type of art that they've never experienced, or just anything. Like, it's super rewarding to get to see that development and that growth, the excitement grow. It's amazing.
And do you still, Sarah or Rebecca, I guess I'll ask either of you, do you still do the nutrition program? You had that kitchen in there.
Oh, the kitchen.
Yeah.
That's something that I definitely want to reboot and reach out. I'm big into reaching out to the community. So that's something I definitely want to talk to some of our local chefs and people and bring in, I just think as a kid it would be super fun to have like a local chef and teach a little bit more about nutrition. But we definitely do teach healthy habits. We have a great partnership with Pack Mobile, so we're able to use their basketball gym and their turf area. And so healthy habits is definitely a focus. Right now, I've been reaching out this last month to a couple of local artists, and we've been able to bring them in. It was really pretty special. One of the local artists taught them how to do watercoloring, and also they made 3 different cards, and she encouraged them to give one to Share and Care, which was pretty cool for the kids to be able to give back and write little special notes in there. So definitely looking into this month, I would like to do May for mental health music and try to get some local musicians in there also.
Yeah, definitely not me. I'm not a good musician, but I like the idea of having those programs, because I do think that you're teaching habits for life. You're teaching things like healthy nutrition, healthy habits, giving back to others is something that isn't just innate. People just don't always know that unless they're taught that. And, it starts in the family and it gets extended through the Boys and Girls Club, because you will help hone those skills. I mean, they may not be chefs, but but at least they'll learn how to cook healthy food.
Totally.
I mean, that's important. Now I want to talk to Rome. How you doing, Rome?
Good, how are you?
Good. Well, I'm doing great. I've got the Boys and Girls Club of Lewis County here, so I'm doing great. Tell us a little bit about your what you do at the club.
Yeah, for sure. So what I do right now, I'm considered a youth development professional, and I work with grades K through first at the moment. So I kind of help them. Once they come in, they get snack, and then we kind of like go over their highs and lows, or like I ask them a little like silly question to kind of get them going for the day. Like I think today's question was, if you could become any animal for a day, what animal would you be? And I usually go through and they kind of answer the question. It's just like silly questions like that.
All right, what was the best answer? What were some of the answers at least?
Oh boy, I've heard like cat. I've heard like kangaroo. You'll hear like really insane animals.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's very interesting.
And then you have that one kid who just knows way too much because he's watched way too much.
Oh yeah.
TV, like what is it, National Geographic? So they're going to find this obscure animal that you don't even know of, right?
Yeah, no, they'll sometimes say an animal and be like, oh, okay. Yeah.
And you love working at the club?
Oh yeah, for sure. No, it feels good to kind of give back to club, especially when I was a teen. So it feels good to work there and kind of give back to the younger kids.
And that's an important point that you brought up, and I want to talk a little bit about that. You're a product of club.
Yeah, no, for sure, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, your experience, as somebody who went there as a young person and then kind of grew up as part of the club community.
Yeah, for sure. So when I was younger, I didn't really have my family was going through like a rough time with like divorce and just like a lot of like money issues and stuff. And then my mom tried to find a job and she couldn't really be there after school. And so I ended up going to the Boys and Girls Club of Olympia first for a couple of years. And then I moved in with my grandparents about my freshman year. And then I started going to club in Chehalis. So I started out in the teen room there, and then the teen room staff in there was awesome. He was he really influenced my life, and I feel like club has really given a lot to me, a lot of opportunities for sure. Youth of the year, that was a big thing that I was involved in. It's given me a lot of great opportunities, like leadership opportunities for sure. So I feel good, like kind of giving back to club, especially since it's given so much to me.
Yeah, and if you're just tuning into the Let's Talk About It show on AM 1470 KELA or KELAAM.com, I'm your host, Peter Abbarno, and this is Let's Talk About It Sunday, and my special guests are the Boys and Girls Club of Lewis County. We'll take a quick break for our commercial, and we'll be back.
You are listening to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show. Stay tuned. Let's Talk About It Sunday edition will return in a moment.
Okay, and now back to business.
Listen on the air and online.
KELA.
Let's talk about it. Good morning. You're listening to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show. This program was pre-recorded, so no live phone calls on today's show.
All right, we're back with the Let's Talk About It Sunday on AM 1470 KELA and KELAAM.com. Up next will be the Fox News Report and Fox News, but right now we're back with our special guest, the Boys and Girls Club of Lewis County, and I'm talking to Rome. Rome is somebody who went to club, started off at Boys and Girls Club in Olympia, and then came down here. Rome, you were just talking a little bit about the rough time you had with family. Family was going through some rough times, and you went to club, and you said something about the impact of staff and how and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but kind of changed your trajectory, your life.
Yeah, for sure. Sure.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So the staff at the time, I was kind of new to like this Boys and Girls Club. It was like my first year. It was freshman year of high school, so I was transferring from Olympia all the way down to Chehalis. So I didn't really have many friends. And then going into club, I didn't know what to expect. And the staff at the time, he was great. And then he kind of transferred out really early. And then one of the actually someone I went to high school with in band, he just graduated, and then he became the staff for the teen room, and he was super great, super awesome guy. He helped me kind of like with homework, or like helped me with just advice if I was feeling down. He was always there to kind of talk, and he kind of lifted me up and made me feel good.
Yeah, And you've now taken that gift that you received from the Boys and Girls Club, and now you're giving back.
Yeah, for sure.
And do you feel you're having the same impact? I mean, you're working with younger kids who maybe don't understand that impact yet. But in reality, we know that the child development, the majority of child development, like 90% of their brain develops between 0 and 5, and you're working with these kids right at the cusp of that. So, I mean, you may be maybe one of the most important figures in their early life to helping them develop as then, kids and then teens.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, a lot of weight on your shoulders, but a lot of great opportunity.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's a big it's a big pressure, I guess, but like also it feels good to kind of be there for the kids, especially at that young age, because sometimes they don't understand like their feelings or like just the emotional stuff.
Yeah.
So I just got done with the program with the kindergarten and first graders called, what was it called? It's like, I forgot what it's called, but it's basically just like them learning about their emotions and how to deal with it, and just like teaching them coping mechanisms and strategies and stuff like that. So whenever they're feeling down, they're feeling sad, they have those strategies to work with.
Yeah. Well, that early identification, that early intervention is so important. If a young person can learn those skills early, I mean, I'm in my 40s and I don't have those skills yet. So Rome, I might be taking your class, even if it's K through 1. But those are so important because, as I said, I mean, if the kids' brains and personalities and their habits are developing at a young age, if you can get in early, you're going to be one of the keys to helping break intergenerational poverty or helping a child make a decision to cope with their emotions rather than lash out and then get in trouble, and then that will ruin everything.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Sarah, how does that feel? I mean, it's a great story. How does it feel to know that, you and your staff are having these kind of impacts?
Yeah, it's amazing. I feel really honored, really humbled to be a part of this, to hear about Rome's story, and to have these families and these kids at the Boys and Girls Club. I just feel really humbled to be a part of it.
It's emotional, right?
Yeah,
I can see you're emotional. And I when Rome was talking, I was getting that thing in my stomach, right? That little pit in your stomach where you're like, wow, this is bigger than just club, because it's going to have so many impacts in the households of families throughout our community.
Yeah, it is. I know when I was younger, I lost my mom 9 days before I turned 7, and I really shut down, and it took me a long time, but to have caring adults that poured into me and that were with me through the long run really made a huge impact on me. I mean, I was barely literate for years, but to have those caring adults that just kept pouring and said, hey, we believe in you, and not giving up was huge for me. So to be able to be a part of kids' lives, and we're not only helping kids, we're helping these families. Some families just trying to get by. It's pretty amazing.
Well, and what's even more amazing is to think about all those kids who may not have had some of that support. I mean, even with a support group like you had growing up, and I'm sorry for that tragedy, and it's hard. I keep thinking about all the kids in our community who maybe don't have that support group, and really they're relying on Rome and Rebecca and you and all the other staff to kind of help supplement that, because they may have nowhere else to turn.
Definitely.
And so if you didn't have that support group, you don't even know where your life would be now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've had kids come in, and it's just earning their trust, being there, being silent with them, helping them explore different areas of interest, and just kind of walking with them through life and just being there. We're not going to give up on you. We're going to be here for you.
Well, and I think that's a really good point too, the trust thing, is that you need to have good staff. I mean, and I would imagine that's what you look for, staff that can build trust with, I guess you'd say, teens and youth who probably have a natural instinct to not trust. I mean, that's hard.
It is. And let me tell you, we are always looking for amazing staff. So if you are interested in volunteering or joining our team, contact us.
Yeah, and what's that phone number again, Sarah? Do you know that?
Yes, it is 360-345-1700.
And you could also go to bgclewiscounty.org. That's the website where they can probably get more information, not just about the program, but about if they want to volunteer or maybe someday get hired.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's got to be hard. I mean, I know even with my own kids, when mine are 10 and 11, and they're going through so many changes through life, and they see so much on social media. Trust is not something that is very natural with a lot of kids.
Exactly.
And so it's so important to have good people in there. And one of those obviously is Rebecca, our resource coordinator. And Rebecca, this is a lot different than your mortgage job before.
Yeah, definitely.
And so in your job, do you also see Rome and the staff making a difference in these kids' lives? I mean, you have to witness it every day.
Yeah. So I have a unique job as far as I'm not necessarily in the groups with the kids every day. I get to kind of look and watch and step in when needed, and I get to see these connections being made. And it's so great. Again, I get to make those little connections here and there. I get to help, and it's awesome. Sitting downstairs when kids are getting off the bus, our front office gal, she has special handshakes with the kids as they're coming off, and it's just, you're making these connections. You're not going to realize how important that's going to be down the road. Just that little handshake.
So how many kids attend club? Do you know?
Yeah, it can definitely fluctuate because it depends on parent schedules and everything. Right now at our Chehalis site, we have in the 50s and 60s, and similar numbers at our Centralia 21st Century Grant location at Jefferson Lincoln. Okay,
and you've got an important date coming up in May, right?
Yes, we do.
All right, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, we have our summer camp coming up. It's a 10-week program, $125 per week, and our registration opens to everybody on May 15th.
May 15th, and they can go to bgclewiscounty.org to get more information?
Correct.
Or they can call, and what's the number again?
360-345-1700.
Now, this is radio, so people can't see, but somebody had to look down for the phone number, and somebody just rattled that thing off.
We're new.
No, I think that's awesome. And so one thing that I think, Sarah, you and I talked a little bit about beforehand when we were, talking about the show is, and Rome is a perfect example of this, is that the impact on club is not a snapshot. For a family or a student. It's got a long-term thing. And I was going to talk about some of the statistics, and maybe you can comment on them. So 52% of 12th grade club members express interest in STEM compared to only 27% of 12th graders nationally. 97% of club teens are expected to graduate high school, and 76% of low-income club members ages 12 to 18 who attend club regularly report having A's and B's compared to 67% of peers. And I know that there's other statistics regarding, club members having a lower percentage of kids going through the judicial system, recidivism rates, and lifetime quality child care programs and after-school programs have a higher trajectory for lifetime earnings and income. So let's talk a little bit about that, because a lot of times people will think this is just about this summer, or this is just about, middle school. It really isn't. It's about a lifetime.
Exactly. And Rebecca and I just went to the United Way resource development meeting today, and it was great connecting with our community and just seeing all those different resources, which I want to connect our club to let our students know there's so much opportunity out there. And I feel like, thinking about when I was young, some of these things would be very intimidating for me to seek out myself, but for us to be like, hey, let's connect you to the college. Hey, let's connect you to these different other job avenues, and just kind of walk beside them and bring them to different places or invite people in so they can see there's all these different opportunities, right. And we just want to walk beside them and let them know and be their support.
Well, and operating in a silo doesn't really give you an opportunity to be the best. And so reaching out and getting out into the community and making those connections is going to make the club better.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Rebecca, you mentioned Jefferson Lincoln. Can you talk? Most people know the club from its Chehalis location. Can you talk about Jefferson Lincoln a little bit?
Yeah. So we have a 21st Century Grant, which that covers pretty much everything. It covers the cost for our employees, and it costs the membership fees for our students as well. So it's just for that location at this point, but it allows us to get in the doors of the school and offer the snacks and the resources. We get to partner with them, their space, and get into another part of Lewis County that we wouldn't necessarily be able to otherwise. So it focuses on a lot of the communities that have that lower, they have the free and reduced lunches, which Jefferson Lincoln definitely fits that category. So we're so grateful to get to jump into that school. And
Centralia School District is so high in free reduced that they're 100%.
Yeah.
That's how high it is. And so I think what's great is making the connection in schools for these kids, especially before summer starts, and that they're not going to always have that healthy meal.
Yeah.
Because sometimes a lot of these kids will go home and they won't get the same meal or learn the same nutrition, habits that they'll learn from club or from you at Jefferson Lincoln.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, Rome, I want to finish off with you real quick and just say, if you were to, if a parent would ask, well, why would I send my student or kid or child to club? What would your response be?
Oh boy, I would definitely say it's worth it. Club has given me like a lot of leadership opportunities, like kind of mentioned before. It means a lot to me. All the staff were there for me when I was going through a hard time, especially with anxiety, depression throughout high school and just like throughout my younger life, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I would honestly say it definitely has some long-term effects, just like you mentioned, and it keeps you coming back. I know for me, I'm now working there as a youth development professional, and it kind of hooked me in from the beginning. And again, with like the kind of free thing. I remember when I was a teen, it was free. So, I had the opportunity to go in and try it out. Yeah. And I just made so many good connections there. I still talk to a lot of the teens that went there at the time. So,
well, I want to thank Sarah, Rome, Rebecca with the Boys and Girls Club of Lewis County. Thank you very much for coming on the show today and sharing your story, sharing all the great things going on at the club.
Thank you, Peter.
Yeah, and if you want to learn more about the Boys and Girls Club of Lewis County, go to bgclewiscounty.org. May is a great opportunity to start getting involved, especially as they're reaching out with their summer camp. And if you want to learn more information, again, go to bgclewiscounty.org. Thank you for tuning in to the Let's Talk About It Sunday show before Fox News. I'm your host, Peter Abbarno, and look forward to talking with you again next Sunday.